Welcome back to the Lost Boyz Podcast, episode 18. Gianni,
Brandon,
welcome. If you're new to the channel, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn the post notifications on so you could get notified every time we post, which is every Thursday at 12 p.m.
I must say this early. I don't know if the mic can pick this up, but before I make all crickets in the world extinct, ignore the cricket that's outside the window right there, because I can't unhear it. So if you guys hear it, deal with it.
Hopefully not. I don't know why. I looked at the light and I thought about the episode when it was facing us. But with that being said, also follow the TikTok, Lost Boyz Podcast. And if you want to follow us on social media, our links are in the description below. So with that being said, today's topic is freedom of speech? ? I didn't wait for the drum roll.
Fuck it, it's alright. I'll go fuck off.
Is our speech still free? Do we still have freedom of speech? Is today's topic. And so to kick it off, I have a question.
Ooh, let's go.
So my question to you is, do we really have free speech in today's day and age? What is your opinion on it? What do you think?
I don't think we do. Like, we have the right to say what we want, but there's so many consequences for saying the wrong thing or having a different opinion. So, yeah, you have the right to say it, but you're going to lose X, Y, and Z because of it.
Agreed. I agree with that. So what I wrote down, one example was like, we live in a society now where or at least it feels this way. Not that we live in a society now where like, it almost seems as if you have to censor your true opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is because let's say like you go out and you express an opinion, and if a large enough group does not like it, they will literally attack your entire existence and literally try to get you fired from your job.
That's true.
Like they'll do everything to make sure like you cannot succeed in life just because you don't agree with their beliefs, which to me is fucking insane. The fact that they're literally like try to get you to lose your job. Friends and family will stop talking to you over an opinion. It's not even a fact. It's just an opinion. It's like, yo, this is just what I think. Does that make me a bad person? Depending on what it is, no.
Big asterisk there.
Yeah.
But it's true. Like, if we have a difference over fucking gas prices, right? That's not grounds for, you know what? I can't be friends with you.
Yeah.
I think you deserve to lose your job.
And I think the biggest one is like politics. Like, okay, there's so much division with politics. Like you see, like people will literally say themselves, "Oh, if you're a Republican, I don't want to be your friend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, if you're a liberal, I don't want to be your friend." What? What does that have to do with me as a character? Like,
it's true.
That's just maybe the political ideologies I agree with more. That doesn't make me a bad person, though. What makes you not a bad person then? If you're the liberal and I'm the conservative, if I think this, and this, and you think that, why aren't you the bad person, but I'm the bad person?
Mm-hmm.
Who's wrong then? No one's wrong.
See, and it also hits something that we've mentioned on the podcast before, where it's like everybody today, not everybody, but like majority of people are so close-minded when having friends who have differing opinions, how valuable that is.
Extremely.
Like, if we can disagree on something, there's value there, because now I can understand what you disagree with my point. I can understand with what I can help you understand why I disagree with your point, and find some form of a common ground and leave. You never know. Maybe it's like, oh shit, Johnny's right. Bam, change of opinion.
And that's going into it with an open mind too.
That's the requirement.
Because you can disagree and argue it, but you're arguing either one off emotion, or two just you're not really listening. You're just responding. You're waiting. You're hearing to respond, not listening to understand. That's like the biggest difference. Like, if you come across somebody who has a different take on you than you, listen to what they have to say, right? Of course, there's exceptions, but again, exceptions do not make the rule. For example, an exception would be like if somebody thinks like a 45-year-old should be dating a 8-year-old. Sorry, your opinion does not matter. You should go to jail. Thinking that. But if somebody has this, let's say, political belief, and you have this, find out why they think the way they think and why they agree with it. Let them know why you think the way you think and why you agree with that. And who knows, maybe you come to a common ground, or maybe you still disagree. But go into it with an open mind. Like, really try to learn, instead of saying, oh, you think that way? Not your friend. Don't talk to me. You're a terrible person. I can't believe you. Ew.
Mm-hmm.
Get out. Like, what? That to me, that makes no sense at all. The fact that you're like disqualifying people just because they don't agree with your belief. Which, it could get real deep off that, but it's too early in this podcast for me to get into that yet. But I will later. But with that being said, I feel like we live in a world now where you can't disagree.
Yeah.
Like, if you decide to go against the grain, cancel culture, especially if you're on social media, cancel culture will come for your life.
It's true.
And to me, this is the way I see it, right? I want to know, who do you think is worse? Is the person who has, or who agrees with this opinion or ideologies and belief, but still treats the people the way they want to be treated, bad? Or is the person who, just because that person does not agree with their political beliefs or ideologies or anything of that nature, they decide to try and do everything they can to cancel them, meaning take away their job, their ability to provide for their family, food out their mouth, their ability to ever succeed in life again, because they're always going to have this image and something painted towards them, whereas corporate companies are not going to want to take that on. Who's worse?
I'd rather take the guy who doesn't agree, but is just a normal person. Like,
yeah, exactly. The worst person is the one who's trying to cancel. Yeah, in my opinion. But for some reason, everybody who's doing the canceling can't see that. They can only see it when it's being done to them.
Look, when you're sitting there and somebody disagrees with you, right? And the congregation of people are like, yeah, this person, cancel culture is like, this person needs to lose their job, right? Something people don't know, and this is going to be a far-fetched, thing to pull in here. One of the most common reasons for suicide is actually loss of employment.
It's crazy.
How many people know that?
I did not know that.
Think about it. You have middle age, you lose your job. I say your whole stability's fucked up.
Yeah, it's your livelihood. So, yeah, it's crazy to me. And then people will feel it is okay and justified.
Mm-hmm.
Simply over the fact that they had a different belief system than them. Which to me makes no sense at all. It's like, what? So I have to censor what I believe in to not get people angry so I can actually have a job and eat and provide. That don't sound like freedom of speech to me.
Yeah.
That, at least in my head, that it doesn't sound like it to me. And I feel like when you do that, all you do is create extreme division. Like you get one side that goes way too crazy. So in return, you get the complete polar opposite, which then just makes everything even gradually like worse and worse and worse. There's never a common ground because no one wants to agree with each other now.
Not to make this political, but we live in the extremes now.
100%.
For example, you go Bush, you go Barack, then you go Trump, then you go Biden. Like you're just bouncing from extreme to extreme.
100%. That's the perfect example. Literally a perfect example. How like you literally it's one extreme to another extreme to another extreme to another extreme, and it clearly people aren't learning the lesson where like you can't succeed in extremes. You have to meet in middle ground somewhere. That's the only way you're gonna get somewhere.
That's what compromise is. This country's built on compromise. Like everybody's heard the story. I don't know which of the founding fathers gathered everybody and got them drunk and made a deal. Like, all right, bam, and got everybody to agree on the founding principles of the country, and then they went on from there.
Yeah.
I think it was Benjamin Franklin. He called like everybody together and gave them wine, and then they got drunk, and then they agreed and signed.
Smart man.
Yeah.
He understood. But another part that's crazy about everything too to me is like people would take something from like 2022. They'll take something from 2011. You could have been like 10 years old, bro. And you say one wrong thing, bro. They will use that to end your career. Like it's crazy. Like people literally will dig and do all crazy types of investigations just to do that, which to me is insane. Like, bro, you have something better to do with your life? Clearly not. If you have all the time in the world to find something from 2011 to try and come at me with, you have way bigger issues and problems to deal with.
If y'all would put the effort into getting better careers and bettering yourself as much as y'all do to find tweets from 2008, y'all would be fucking, everybody be Bill Gates.
Yeah. Yeah, but again, to my point though, sorry, I just drifted right
No,
back.
you're good.
But I also don't agree with the fact that what you post on the internet will haunt you forever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get it, it's the internet age and time, but bro, what I say when I was 15 is not reflective of who I am at 23.
Exactly.
Even what I said at 22 is not reflective of who I am at 23 for the most part. Your mind, you grow as a human, I hope, every year,
Mm-hmm.
and you evolve and you realize, oh shit, I actually was wrong. Oh yeah, I did make that mistake. Then you know what? But you take that into the future, but if you're being held for it in the past, then it's like, depending what it is.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain extremes where it's like, no, you stay there. They're justifiable. Very few cases, but there's a few. But generally speaking, it's like, why does that haunt? Corporate offices will not hire you if you have a bad rep or say crazy things on social media, which to me doesn't make any sense, because it's like, then when can I say what I want to say? When can I express my voice and say the things I want? Again, goes back to censorship. I'm holding back in order for the ability to actually like live.
Yeah.
Which, that's not freedom of speech. That's not freedom in general.
You're trading your freedom of speech for comfort, for stability.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Well, you have to in order to live. So
Yeah.
you're just playing the game at that point. But at that point, then the country is no longer following its principles from the beginning. So then why are they there? So it only accounts when an issue arises. But if an issue doesn't arise, it doesn't matter.
Like, I wanted to say this. When you touched on you're a totally different person. We're 23, right? Short lease to be 24. If I look at my life, right? 18 to 19, 19 to 20, 20 to 21. Every year I'm like, yo, wow, I grew a lot this year, right? At 22, I was like, yo, like, I felt like good about myself and who I was, right? 22 to 23, bro, the year of 23 has been so much learning and growth and experiences and change, where it's like, wait a minute, like, no, I thought 22 was gonna be 23 is shit. I'm a totally different person now.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like, oh, well, what's it gonna be like at 24? Like, you may have an opinion at 22, and some things may happen in life where at 23 you just don't see it that way anymore. There's a lot of things, a lot of opinions that I've had change in 22 to 23. I can't wait to see what's next. So to hold somebody to who they used to be, like maybe an opinion they had before they like maybe got educated on something, because everybody's ignorant in something.
100%.
Now, if somebody's ignorant in a sector that you're, let's say, an expert on, you shouldn't be pointing the finger at them. No, that's the issue. Everybody wants to like penalize right away. No, let's educate. Yeah.
Exactly.
That alone will make such a difference in like person-to-person relationships.
100%. 100%. That's also part of the issue too. But what was I gonna say? No, but again, I agree. Like, your past on the internet should not haunt you. I shouldn't have to be this fake perfect person to live my life, you know? Especially in a country whose like whole like premise of it is the land of the free. Like, you want me to be this perfect human on the internet and off the internet when you yourself aren't even perfect. Like, unless you're perfect, you can't go at and come at somebody for not being perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, before you judge somebody for making a mistake, why don't you look at yourself and look at your mistakes and be like, oh wow, you know what? If the public actually knew about this mistake, I'd probably be in their position too. You know? And I think that ties in perfectly to what I wanted to bring up next was, I feel like the majority of people don't even formulate opinions for themselves anymore. They just go off what the media says. Like, if the general populace on social media is agreeing with one thing, people just run with that. They won't even look into it, do research. They just run with it because it's easier to just jump on the train and go with it because you know everybody else is going to accept you for it versus actually looking into it and maybe disagreeing with it and saying, hold on, you guys are wrong. It's this actually, and being scolded for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the general populace, for the most part, they see something on social media and they see like the general mass saying one thing. And even from people who probably didn't even do research themselves, and then everybody just runs with it. And they just agree based off what everybody else agreed on without even formulating their own opinion.
In the power of habit, right? This is going to be a long circle. I promise you it's going to come back. In the power of habit, it talks about the civil rights movement, right? And exactly what you just said got used in the civil rights movement because the fear of having a different opinion is so ingrained in society today, because what they started doing was they started telling people, obviously the coordinators of the original movement started coordinating with people and saying, well, I know you might not agree with us yet, but Nancy, Tom, and Jose all already signed on for this. Are you going to be the one who doesn't? And like that, they started lying, but they got everybody to agree because of the fear of having that differing opinion, the fear of like, oh no, wait.
Yeah, I'm being looked at as like...
That peer pressure is powerful, man.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the outcast. Everybody wants to fit in. That's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Stop trying to fit in, just be you. And then, you were going to say something? You have a point?
No, so I was just going to bring up something similar where it's like, there's also a deeper rooted issue in society where people will really make themselves believe something just because of like what we mentioned, like that social peer pressure. Like you might know in your core, oh man, I don't really think I agree with, I don't fucking know, tax rate, right? Anything. But it's like, you know what? Nah, if enough people believe this, then I'm just bugging. Like, yeah. And it's like a disease. People are really make themselves believe this.
Yeah, or even worse, they didn't even know what it's about. And they're just like, oh, everybody's posting it on their Instagram story. Okay, I'll repost it too.
Oh my God. Yeah. That just brought back a memory.
I feel like I know what you're talking about. We're going to keep that one off camera.
Listen, I'm trying to keep my job. The whole purpose of this conversation.
Yeah.
Listen, but not because I remember I got ridiculed for not posting a certain thing.
I know 100% what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's like, one, at least I was taught by my mother, be careful what you co-sign onto, because if it's wrong, you're wrong too. Mm-hmm. The followers are just as wrong as the leader. So, like, you got to be careful. And at the time, I didn't understand it, and I didn't agree with it. Like, it didn't make sense to me, so why would I? Mm-hmm. And no. But I did, though. No, I did. I ended up posting it. I caved. I posted it, and it was afterwards that I had this realization of, like, wow, that was very soft of me. Like, I folded, and that's where this realization came from. And then I tied that into like what my mom told me. My mom was always like, yo, careful where you put your name, because you can't be defending the wrong things. Like,
yep. I think it comes down to just like people not wanting to take the accountability. So it's a lot easier to follow than to take leadership, because when you follow and something goes wrong, it was his fault.
Yeah.
It's her fault. You have somebody to point the finger at. But if you're the leader and you fuck up and everybody points the finger at you, that's too much pressure. Nobody wants to take on that responsibility. Very few people want to take on their responsibility. So it's easier for people to just like jump on the bandwagon and follow whatever is popular, because they know even if they're wrong, it's okay, because they could just point the finger at that person and say, actually, no, that person was wrong, not me. Even though you were wrong the whole fucking time.
It's called social anonymity. If there's a big group of people, guess what? You're anonymous. You're in the group. That's it. You're just one of 1,000.
No.
But it takes balls to be the one. Like
exactly, and nobody wants to be that one. Everybody wants to follow for that reason.
But then there's also a lot of fruits in life to being the one.
I'd rather be the one.
Absolutely. It's like, but then there are rewards for being the outcast in society. And then there are people who try to, what's the word I'm looking here? Try to degrade your name because you are the outcast and because you are receiving the fruits for going against the grain.
Yes, 100%. There are many people that have gone through that, especially on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Social media especially, more than anything. Whereas, like, they have a differentiating opinion than others. And then because of that, people try to cancel. It's just an opinion. You don't have to agree with it, but just listen to it. Try to understand why do they think the way they think. Instead of like, they said that, they don't deserve to eat, have a platform, nothing. Then all we're going to get is literally the same exact shit 24/7. At what point that's it. It's over. We stop learning.
Yep.
No one learns anymore. No one grows. Like, that's it. It's over.
It's such a sensitive line today because there's so much social pressure and so many fingers being pointed. It's like the fucking Spider-Man meme.
Yeah,
just 400 million people pointing at each other.
Yeah,
because it's like, let's say a YouTuber says something that's not socially acceptable, right? He has a differing opinion. Well, guess what? There are gonna be people who agree. There are gonna be people who disagree, right? The people who disagree are going to say, oh, that's horrible. You don't deserve to have a platform, right? And then they're going to look at YouTube and say, oh, my God, what's wrong with you guys? How do you allow somebody like that to have a platform? Mm-hmm. So now the social pressure starts on YouTube. And YouTube as a business is going to be like, oh, no, that person has to go. Like, because they got to protect their image, right? Yep. Even if the person making the call agrees or disagrees with that person, they have to make their call to protect themselves. So now it's like, this whole trickle-down effect of social pressure, that all starts because somebody gets offended. 100%.
And in return, it literally attacks your freedom of your speech. That's like the biggest issue with social media right now. Like Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, all that. Many people aren't able to vocalize their opinions. And if it does stay on the platform, they get like shadow banned and like buried. It gets super hard to find. Like you have to like already know the content creator to be on top of it. Even like if they have like 800,000 subscribers, they like maybe the subscribers will find it right away, but for new people to come across it on the the Explore, no way.
It's not happening.
It's not happening. 100%.
That's actually one of the points. That's actually the first point I had down is being blackballed. It's very easy to get blackballed into today's society.
Yep.
Like.
The only person I know on YouTube that expresses or that says whatever the hell they want, no matter how bad it sounds or bad it is, but still gets millions of views every video, Steve will do it. He's literally the only person I can think of. And that's just because of the Noke fan base is such a crazy fan base where the majority of them go against the grain. That's why it works for them. But if anyone else who did not agree with what they think or do, saw their content or heard what they said, oh my God, they'd have a fucking heart attack. And like, I don't know. It's crazy to me, the fact that people will literally force their belief on you. And if you don't agree with it, they will literally try to take everything from you.
Yep.
Like everything. And like, literally, they're willing to make you be a homeless person on the street just because of something you said or didn't agree with. Which to me is fucking insane. It's like you think you're doing the right thing, but you're actually doing the worst thing. The right thing to do is to understand, become open-minded, talk, figure out why. Maybe you don't agree with each other, you agree to disagree. But at least you had a discussion. Not an attack, a discussion.
You have that discussion, and in that discussion, if you can have that discussion without attacking, like you said, guess what? Now there's educating going on.
Yeah.
And it all ties back to the educate, not scold.
Yeah.
Like, that's so important. Because There are people who, celebrities even, that will lose deals and sponsorships and everything like that just because they might like somebody or dislike somebody or agree with policy or disagree with policy.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's like, all right, you disagree with this. Well, let me tell you why I agree with it and why I think we need it. Mm-hmm. Bam. Now, because guess what? Born and raised in the Northeast. I don't know what the fuck the inner workings of Tennessee are like.
Yeah.
So somebody who's born and raised in Tennessee for 23 years is going to have a different opinion than me. Guess what? That's a good thing. Let me hear your experiences, hear mine. Bam, bam, bam. Now, it all goes back to education.
Yep. And a quote I wanted to say before I actually came across it today was when I was saying about social media, or like just in general, how these businesses and people in general expect everybody to be perfect even though they're not perfect themselves. I feel like the best way to carry yourself through life is to be real, not perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Just be real. Be who you are. Stop trying to be perfect. Stop trying to be this person that everybody likes, everybody respects, always has the right opinion, always this, always that. No, just be you. If you feel this way, then and that's what you believe or something, then be about it and say it.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? They don't agree with me? Cool. There's somebody who might. And if you don't, why don't you? Oh shit, you know what? Maybe you are right. Actually, you're very fucking wrong. Mm-hmm. But if you don't go against the grain, like it doesn't work. You don't ever get there. But the key is to be real. Like just be who you are. Stop trying to be perfect. Because again, that does not get you anywhere. That gets you into the following category.
That's true. But if everybody's trying to be perfect, everybody's trying to be the same.
Yeah. If everybody's trying to be perfect, everybody's trying to be fake.
True.
That's what it is. Because being real is not being perfect.
Part of even understanding yourself is understanding that you're not perfect. Because when you start understanding yourself, you don't start on, well, what am I good at? You start on, well, what do I want to improve on?
Exactly. What
do I not like about myself? All right, X, Y, and Z, bam, bam, bam. That's where you start. You don't say, oh, I like hiking. I'm going to just go hiking. Like, because eventually, then you're not going to like hiking anymore.
Yeah, you're going to get tired of it.
You start on what you dislike, what you want to improve on.
Yeah. Another thing I've learned too, which sucks because if I should be able to tell you the truth to your face, and you'd be like, damn, all right, cool. At least, like, if somebody came up to me and was like blunt, I prefer people to be blunt, honest with me. So, like, if you need to tell me the truth, you just tell me the way it is and tell me it straight to my face. And I'm like, all right, you're right. Like, and then I'll do what I got to do at that point. But I feel like today's society, people are way too soft about it. Again, it goes back to the speech. It's all about how you say everything. If like a perfect example I heard one time, which I thought was hilarious, but it's funny, it's true. If I say 2 + 2 = 4, it equals 4, right? Now if I say 2 + fucking 2 = 4, does it still equal 4? Mm-hmm. Okay, so then what the fuck? So who cares, bro? It's just words. The words don't mean nothing.
Yeah.
And
I like that example.
I feel like people, in my personal experience, the best way to like get the point across, because they're so sensitive nowadays, is to not tell them flat out, oh, you're wrong, is to ask questions that lead them to observe through actions and what they're hearing that they might be wrong. Mm-hmm. And that's what leads them to the change. But if you just keep pointing them and strong-arming them, like, no, you're wrong, then you get an extreme, which is mind-blowing. But I don't get it.
I like the way you worded that.
Yeah. I wish you could just go up to people. Like, there's very few people you could go up to and just be like, I mean, I still do it either way. Mm-hmm. I don't care. I'm going to be me. I'm going to be real. But I wish more people were accepting of the truth. Whereas, like, you go up to them and you tell them, dude, this is how it is. Like, this is it. Like, and when I say the truth, is because it's a proven fact, not because it's an opinion. No, like, this is a cold, hard fact. Like, look, this, and this. And you're like, that's so offensive. How could you say that? Like, all right, bro. Here we go again. We get nowhere. To me, that's not freedom of speech. The fact that you're forcing your beliefs upon me. See, like, it's one thing if, okay, you believe this, right? Cool. And I believe this. Cool. You believe that. You live your life happily ever after. You have a great life. I believe this. I still live my life happily ever after, whatever. We're both good people. We don't do harm to people. We're happy. We go and we live a long, healthy, happy life, and we die peacefully. Why do some people feel the need to take that belief, see me living happy, peaceful, I'm being a great human, I'm not hurting nobody, I'm just focused on me, my family, and just having the best life I can until my time runs out. And people see that and like, what? You don't believe what I believe? No, you have to believe what I believe.
No.
That's where everything's, like, I feel like that's where everything stems from.
Bro.
Like the fact, why are you forcing, have your opinion, that's fine. But you shouldn't force people to believe what you believe. If somebody believes a pebble is God and that makes them the best human on earth and they don't want to hurt nobody, why are you trying to strong arm them into not believing into the pebble anymore? Just let them rock. Like, it is what it is. It's okay. They let them say what they want to say. If that makes them a good human, then that makes them a good human. That's all that matters.
Bro, I'm so glad you brought up that example, because what I was thinking about while you were talking was at the mall, those foot patrols that walk around and tell me how I'm going to hell, right? And X, Y, and Z. And I'm just like, I'm chilling, man. Like, everything's all right. Like, I'm a decent human being. But no, you need... And I'm just like, yo, dude.
Yeah, it's very common in religion.
Like, yo.
Well, I shouldn't say religion as a whole, but certain religions.
Mm-hmm. Like, yo. That's what was coming to my mind while you were talking. It's like...
Yeah, no, I hear it every day. Every day on my walk to the train, when I come off the bus, I'm walking to the subway. It's the same guy every single day. And he's just preaching. And today somebody said something back to him though. He was talking about like Jesus and all that stuff. Which, I'm just going to work. I'm not here to entertain the conversation. I gotta get to work. I'm going to work.
Mm-hmm.
But today somebody responded and was like, that dude ain't real. Yeah, dude went nuts. He was like, what? May Jesus be with you. He was going crazy. And then cops happened to be walking by at the moment. They're like, yo, relax.
Yo, chill out, bro.
But yeah, he's always there every single day. But like, that's another thing, right? Like, that's his belief. I don't disrespect him for it. I don't acknowledge him, right? I'm going there just because I'm going to work. I'm not there to have an hour-long conversation. I have to get to work. But I'm not being... See, like that guy, he didn't have to say that. It was unnecessary. This guy saying this, I personally haven't seen him do anything bad, try to touch people, get in their personal space. He's just preaching what he feels is right to him.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Using his freedom of speech.
Exactly, cool. I'm not here to tell you otherwise or believe what I believe or anything like that. And I keep it going. Cool as day. That's it. You can make the argument on his side too, where it's like he's just doing what makes him feel good too. But you can also see it as like where you can see it as that guy where he's feeling attacked because he feels like he's forcing it upon him to have to believe this. Like, no, this is the right way. So obviously the other guy was, I forgot what he was. You could tell he was like from some religion. I just can't remember right now. And that's why he said what he said. But it's like, dude, if that's making him good and happy, just let him rock. Again, I don't agree he should be forcing it on people.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not hurting me, he's not invading my personal space, he's not coming into my face, he's not trying to touch me or nothing. No, just do what you gotta do. Like, that's it. Keep it going. But people always want to say something.
Oh yeah, because at a certain point, even if your point is right, you're gonna make yourself wrong by being the provoker. Like, oh, I know I'm right, so I'm gonna egg this person on because I know they're wrong.
Yeah,
like,
I feel like that's a big thing too. Like, I don't know. Sometimes I know the answer to things, but I just choose to stay quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know it. If I know what I know and I'm confident in what I believe in, I don't need to express that to you. Dude, I believe what I believe. If you don't agree with it, cool. Like, I don't need to tell you otherwise.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, you should be vegan. Because if you're not vegan and you're allowing people to kill animals, and that makes you a terrible person. Or I can just be like, you're vegan? Okay, cool. How do you feel? Why do you like it? Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I like eating meat personally, but I respect your views and your diet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to convince you otherwise, though. No, like I'm not trying to force it upon you. Like, no, you have to be vegan. You're terrible. What? You're not. You don't. You hate the animals. What? Like, leave me alone. First off, we're fucking animals. We eat animals. That's how we got here. But anyways, like, don't force your belief upon me. That's what it is. That's where people go wrong. Stop trying to force the belief. Because when you force the belief, you literally do the exact opposite of freedom of speech. And there's many examples I can make. I'm trying to be careful of which one I choose. But perfect example right there, the freedom of speech.
Yep.
But I won't say like a specific one, but just example in general, right? You have this belief system. I don't agree with it. I still treat you like a great human. I don't treat you as less of a human or as something else other than a human, right? But just because I don't agree with it, you feel attacked, and now you try to come at me. It's like, dude, leave me alone. I'm not doing nothing to you.
Mm-hmm.
There was an example I was going to use, but I hold myself back. I was going to go way deeper. But so you know what? You know, we live in this freedom of speech, so quote-unquote world, and I have a job that I like, so I'm trying to keep it.
Right. This is what it's like, ultimately, the way I see it.
That's a perfect example right there.
Yeah, literally. But I see it as a sandbox, right? You have the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want in this sandbox. But the second you step out the sandbox, that's it. You're threatening your job, stability, pay, everything.
Yep. You get punished for going against the grain, which makes no sense. What I was going to say was when you live in a society where everybody's forcing the belief upon you, it's no longer a free world or the land of the free. It's the complete opposite of that. I don't know what you want to call it. Maybe you want... I don't know if I'd call it communism or like Marxism.
Mm-hmm.
But in a sense, it kind of is, because it's basically saying this is the belief system, and if you don't agree with it, you're an outcast for it. And you're like,
yep,
we're gonna kick you to the side for it. So in a sense, you're forcing one belief and one belief only, which essentially is like the whole premise of like communism, where everybody has to be the same. But then you think you live in a capitalistic world, but you're the one who's causing the communism, but you're failing to see that you're causing... You think you're making things better when in reality you're making everything go backwards and become worse. Which kind of makes me think of like back in the days. I don't remember the party now, but one of them was considered, or actually, I do remember, I'm not going to talk about it. But
no, yeah. Just so far, just to recap, because I do think we have, up to this point, touched on some really good things. So just a quick recap. I like how we mentioned nobody's perfect. Don't hold somebody to their past standards, right? Educate, not scold, which I think is the highlight of all this.
Yeah.
Power of social anonymity, right? But you touched on the bar, bro. Be real, not perfect. Because it's so fucking true. Ultimately, trying to be perfect will lead you to making mistakes.
Exactly. There's no one in this world that was perfect, ever. So how can you get on somebody else for not being perfect before you even get on yourself for not being perfect? You'd be the first person to say, oh, I'm not perfect. You did that? Cancel him.
Yeah.
You can't eat. You can't have nothing. You made one mistake. Terrible person.
Yeah.
Depending on the mistake. Terrible person.
Very much depending. But for most regular people, like...
Generally speaking. In general consensus. Again, there's exceptions, but the exceptions do not make the rule.
Very true.
But yeah, man. That's pretty much all I have. I feel like I was ranting a lot, but...
Nah, you were spitting. I don't know. We checked off all my points.
I don't know. To me, it's just, like, obvious. And the fact that the populace, or the majority of people that I have spoken to or come across, don't see it that way is like mind blowing to me. It's like, what? Like, dude, it's not even a secret. Like, they're like, here, look. And you go like this. I don't want to look.
Nah, I'm good.
I believe this. I don't want to look at that. It's like, what? Bro, it's in your face. It's not a secret. Right? It's right there. Again, this is my opinion. I could be wrong, but I could also be right. Right now, based off the knowledge I have and everything I was talking about, I obviously think I'm right, as most people would when they have an opinion, which is why you formulate that opinion. However, if you disagree on any point or in general, please comment down below.
Yeah.
Let me know where you disagreed with, what you disagreed with, and we can talk about it. We can have a discussion. Maybe you can change my mind. Maybe I can change yours. Maybe we can find the middle ground, or maybe we just agree to disagree. But let's just have a discussion, not an attack. You don't have to attack me. Just talk to me. Ask me why. Don't assume this, or that. Just literally be curious. Why? That's literally it. And watch how much further that'll get, where you've developed a respect for the other person and still can agree to disagree. Anyways, with that being said, I've got nothing left to say.
I think you bodied this. You definitely drove the point of the power of dialogue. Just like, at least here with the Lost Boyz, this is an open dialogue. If you comment any disagreements or any agreements or anything you want us to talk about, it's going to be that we're going to be bridging ideologies, bridging viewpoints, because we have different viewpoints from each other, but we might have extremely different viewpoints from somebody else.
Exactly.
Who has different viewpoints from somebody else. And then now this can be a whole dialogue. Because ultimately, the goal here is to educate.
Yep. Like I said in a previous episode, there's a reason why philosophy from way many years before still applies to today. Because you can't change human nature. Human nature is human nature. And the fact that something from way back when can apply to today and we still make the same mistake is crazy to me. Or at least we don't try to correct the mistake as best as we can. Because you're going to make the mistake regardless. Again, it's human nature. But people don't even try. That's the thing. At least try. At least try to be good. At least try to have different perspectives. But anyways, that's all I've got.
I'm all checked out right here. So,
with that being said, episode 18 of the Lost Boyz Podcast. Gianni.
Brandon.
Peace out.
Peace.